Hello, and welcome to a new week from the markets middlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend, and here we start a new trading week. I have a couple of setups that I'm keeping an eye on, and I already executed, so we will check on the setups together and we will make our plan for this week ahead. So, first, as usual, I start my analysis by analyzing the dollar index. It works inverse to EU and GU and gold, the setups that we trade the most. So if the US dollar is gaining value, then the EU GU is losing value, and vice versa. So if this chart goes down, EU GU goes up. So if I want to analyze the dollar index on the daily time frame, I see that during last week, price made this huge displacement to the downside, closed this extremely bearish candle, then consolidate for 2 days. But within this consolidation, the candle of Tuesday made something very important. It rebalanced this BPR, which is the combination of a bullish fair value gap, which if price wanted to stay bullish, this candle shouldn't close below this high. So it shouldn't invert this bullish fair value gap. But since it closed below it, then I was leaning to be bearish. So this candle's high balanced this fair value gap as well as this bullish one, and it created the BPR. It balanced it and then made another displacement to the downside, breaking this base over here that was very important for price on the upside. It acted as resistance. We were expecting it to act as support. It did acted as support just for 2 days, but buyers were very weak in order for them to hold price higher and just pushed price lower. So with this displacement to the downside, price created another bearish fair value gap aligning perfectly with this range over here, which makes it the point of interest for price to go down from here. So while I'm recording this video, this is live charts over here. Market is open. So price already traded inside this daily fair value gap, and I'm expecting price to drop lower into the next sell side liquidity. So this becomes the sell side, the draw on liquidity, our target, and this is our bias bearish simply after this close over here, and this is our point of interest to short from. Now fast forward to the H1 time frame. You see how price made a false move to the upside. It's just as a manipulation, uh, showing signs of bullish, but this is a very interesting continuation pattern which we will talk about more later on. It's a fake displacement to the upside, leaving behind a fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, closing below it, and then pushing price lower. So this is the H1 time frame, but on the 15 minutes time frame, after tapping into the daily fair value gap, price created this bullish fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame and closed below it directly, which is a very interesting sign for weakness. So this candle closed below this bullish fair value gap, hinting that more downside is on the way. So how we translate this idea on the dollar index into a trade on EU or GU. For this example, we're gonna go for the EU, Euro USD, and as we can see, after price made this huge displacement to the upside, consolidated for a couple of days, and then made another push higher, leaving behind this interesting daily fair value gap aligning with this breaker and this structure over here. So it's a really important fair value gap, as well as on the 2 hour time frame. If we just take this daily fair value gap back, we see something very interesting over here. It's the 2 hour fair value gap aligning perfectly with this structure over here. This is a killing edge. This is really a very high probability. Of course, price can still go lower, It can still push lower. This becomes an inverse. But in my opinion, if price goes lower than this fair value gap, then it's ultimately bearish. And I like the fact that price consolidates like this and then tap into the area of interest instead of just going straight into the area of interest, which shows weakness in this case. But if this is the case, then I understand that price accumulated, manipulated to the downside. So I'm buying from the manipulation, and then I expect price to continue pushing higher back into last week, not last week, the week before high. So I'm already in a position on EU. This is my position on EU. I just waited until price tested the 2-hour fair value gap and I placed my buying order. Same thing happening on the DXY or dollar index is happening on the lower time frame. So we see here on the lower time frame how this fair value gap was created right before the daily fair value gap, or sorry, the 2-hour fair value gap, and it got inverted directly. Prices currently already tested the inverse fair value gap and about to go higher. In my opinion, this is a very interesting area uh, to buy from. So this is my position. Of course, I'm collecting my profit not before this high over here, since it was the high of the week, and this potential trade is 6.3R. It might take until the end of this week. I have no problem waiting 2-3 days to collect 6.3R. It's double my usual risk to reward, and just for this high I can collect 3.7 Rs. So that's really amazing in terms of risk to reward. So this is the setup that I'm eyeing on EU. Another setup I was looking at, which is gold, and ever since gold made this push to the upside, breaking this structure over here and turning bullish simply after closing above this daily fair value gap, showing no signs of stopping whatsoever, it created this huge daily fair value gap, which during today's session price tested it as support. So I went down on the 1-hour time frame. I saw that price already tested this level over here, and on the 5-minute time frame I took this fair value gap as inverse, and then I entered here as a confirmation that we're going to the upside, and of course I protected my stop loss with this low over here. So there's really no reason, if price wants to continue going higher, there's really no reason to trade that low and go down below the midpoint of the daily fair value gap. Instead, I want to see maximum uh, balancing this H1 fair value gap, and right after balancing the H1 I want to see a displacement higher, and I want to see trade gold I want to see trade golding higher. I want to see gold trading higher into the next buy side liquidity. The potential for this trade is 3R. I protected my stop loss well below this low, and my entry point is around 3,350, something like that, around that, sorry. And yeah, this is the second structure. I'm gonna keep an eye on gold as well. I expect this daily fair value gap to hold price and push price higher in this coming week. Hope you enjoyed this update. I will keep you guys posted in those two setups, whether take profit or stop loss. In case I manage any trade by trailing stop loss to break even or so, I'll also update it here during this week. So let's trade safe, let's trade smart, let's stay patient, and let's go.